I'm gonna say this once. I hate her. I hate her so freaking much. I'm glad she is insufferable and I'm glad she is the way she is because for the drama, it makes my happy marriage a lot more enjoyable than it would be without her. But I hate her. I hate what this show is doing. You think you come off of season one like, like hey, the bad drama with the family stuff, it's pretty much out the window. Like we resolved that by the midway point, and then they have to. This girl's been through so goddamn much, and no matter what life throws at her, if it's for her husband to be, she will put a damn smile on her face to do it. What I will say is I appreciate the fact that they didn't make the mother generically evil. She very clearly is a product of her environment, not because she was raised shittily, but more so it's like, honestly, I kind of compare it to probably a lot of like CEOs in the world who you could probably put a really nice person at the head of a company, but the pressure of numbers and doing everything will turn anyone into a horrible person to interact with. And it seems like very similar, that's what happened with the mother. And they definitely confirmed in this episode that the dad and the mother, they do generally love each other. There's no like political arranged marriage there. There's a very brief moment in the episode where when she's about to hit our girl, he stops her and he's like, hey, this is the one thing I won't overlook. And you can see how shocked and disappointed and ashamed she is in that moment because she very clearly doesn't want to upset him. And the episode did such a good job at pissing you off, but I think most importantly showing you just how far Mio has come as a character and the amount of abuse she's dealt with. Like, you can throw anything at her at this point and she will be able to bear it if it means that she gets to come home to Lord Kudo at the end of the day. And brilliant episode, but pissed me the hell off. Of course, if you want to support my work and see my full thoughts to these episodes, I do have a Patreon where you got those full live reactions available exclusively. So, last week's video didn't do awful. I do suspect this show will fall off massively for my channel. So, as I said last week, if you want videos weekly on YouTube, not just on Patreon, smash that like, comment, let me know because it does help the algorithm and it does keep the video in viewers' sub boxes, so I appreciate it. Now, if we're looking at episode 1 and 2 of season 2, number 2 is better. It's just like now that we're really back into the swing of the season, it lays out a lot of interesting things. And I think when you look at the mother-in-law here, it's so interesting because even Mio thinks of it in this episode that, when sometimes our boy would be like, hey, I didn't ask for an apology, right? He used to say that a lot in season 1. And yeah, the mom does the same thing. Very much what would have happened had she not come into his life is he most likely would have grew up to be very, very similar to that of his mother. We already had the confirmation that basically the way his mom was is kind of his reason for kind of hating women for a long time because that's how he associated them. And obviously, like, he wasn't as bad as her when we met him. He was just more like, I don't trustate you, but once she proved that she could be trusted, he opened up rather quickly. And I think very similar to what his dad is doing for the mom, Mio is doing for our boy. Now, I think most likely, it's not an issue of he didn't come into her life soon enough. I think it's literally just being the head of a family and making sure your family stays protected and at the top. You like the shit she's saying about how you're not good enough for the family is very harsh, but put into a head of family's position, wanting the absolute best for not only your son, but also, your family line to continue. It's understandable. And I mean, you go back to a lot of medieval stuff, there's a reason why princes and princesses didn't marry the servant boy down the street just because, well, they loved them, right? So it is a very toxic way of looking at shit, but you understand where they're coming from. And I think the idea of how they directed the mother, as infuriating as she was and as much of a bitch as she was, I think they did a great job at understanding her perspective and most importantly, not just keeping her generically evil, like honestly, she kind of came off in episode 1. The idea of her almost pouting and, wanting to sleep the day away. It's such a human reaction to a situation because she's very much ashamed of herself the next day because she disappointed her husband. And I think a lot of people are going to miss that moment when she did, very briefly look ashamed because it did happen. So last week, it was I had my questions. Like, why was he so okay with how she was, right? Like, the night and day difference between his sister, his father, like, it just, the mother, like, does the mother rule with an iron fist? Is it a political marriage? Is she nicer behind closed doors? And the idea that he pretty much, like, it seems to me that he recognizes she's under a lot of stress and pressure, and a lot of her bitchy tones and attitudes isn't her actual feelings, but, put in her shoes, maybe a lot of people would respond. But once it comes to physical violence, that's where he's like, I won't allow that. I won't allow you to do that. And I appreciate that there was that line drawn, and you can see her utter shock and disappointment in that moment. And as they walk up the stairs, there's not anger, it's just shame. It's just, how did it get like this? And I think those are the kind of blink and you miss it moments. And often when it comes to anime fans, if characters don't explicitly say something, so in the case of the dad, I very much love you, blah, 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 or her saying, oh my god, I feel so shameful. A lot of people don't interpret that, but you can see it. It's easier in live action because facial movements and stuff, but you can see it in facial animation when it comes to anime, and I think they did a really good job. And, the action we got in the episode too, there was a surprise, crazy ass mage who blew his own face up when not wanting to talk, which that was metal as hell. They're still building in that like deeper kind of world story, which I thought the second half of season 1 did a really good job with. But yeah, the bread and butter right now is what's going on with the family. And most importantly, our girl was trying to use her dream ability only to be cut off at the very end. I'm interested, had she not been cut off, would something bad happen? Or was that a cutoff because, oh my god, I can see she's using the ability, I told her not to? Probably that, but it's interesting because what if she did reach that tree? Would she have never been able to wake up as well? I don't know, but I think most likely by the end of episode 3, episode 4 at the latest of season 2, the mom probably won't love our girl, but she'll be less pushy to say they have to break up is my guess. But when she pulled out that maid uniform, I thought to myself, you fine bitch, okay. The fact that too our boy has no idea that happened because she already was changed by the time he got home. Oh, this girl, man. This girl is just, she's toxic, infuriating. Oh. But like I said, I appreciate she's like this, and most importantly, I appreciate that they wrote her not as generically evil, but it doesn't change the fact that she's a capital biatch. No ifs, ands, or buts. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think? And you want more YouTube videos? Do let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Tiara's Grace, Tano Plays, Torvak, Joseph Shirley, Andrew Lau, Sokin the Lurker, Levy GR, and we also have a Chris. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.